Hi, I'm Belinda Luscombe. I'm an editor-at-large at Time magazine. Answering today's 10 questions is Danielle Steel, who is the author of a stunning 113 books and who has spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of consecutive weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. And we're very pleased today to have Danielle Steel with us. Thank you. So our first question, Danielle, comes from John Frederick of Rochester Hills, Michigan. And he wants to know, of all the books you've written, which of them do you feel most attached to?
Of all the books I've written, I probably feel the most attached to the one about my son, which is His Bright Light. But that's nonfiction. It's not fiction. I always feel the most attached, fiction-wise, to the one I just finished. So, and the one that's just come out right now, that would be Legacy, the new book.
You've already written 100 books. Do you have a rough idea of how many more you'd like to write?
Maybe another 100.
Another 100?
Yeah.
Whew. This is a related question from Sloan Piva of Portsmouth, Rhode Island. Have you ever had writer's block?
Yes.
And how did you overcome it?
I had writer's block once due to traumatic circumstances in my life. My son died, my marriage ended, and I stopped writing for about 14 months and was afraid that was it forever. And I was actually in a car with a friend in London, and we had a driver, and the driver had disappeared for a little while and was then driving us. And as we went through an intersection, I looked, I guess, to my left, and there was a double-decker bus heading at us at full speed, and the driver was not pulling out of the intersection. And I screamed. The driver then sort of pushed his foot on the gas. The bus scraped the back bumper, and we then discovered that the driver was drunk. But the good news was, it shook me up so badly, I got a great idea for a book, went back to my hotel and started writing again.
Wow, that story could have ended really differently. I'm going to skip to a question here about your son. And a lot of people wrote in to say how much your book about Nick meant to them. And apparently some of these people have written to you and you've written back to them, which they're incredibly moved by. Debra Lathrop of Reading, Pennsylvania, has a son with bipolar disorder as well, and wanted to know if you would ever be interested in being a spokesperson for mental illness and for bipolar disorder.
Not really officially. I mean, I am in a way anyway, because I wrote a book about having a child with bipolar and being the family of and our experience, and my purpose was to sort of open it up to people and show them what we experienced, what he experienced. Also, I mean, my life was really taken up in great part by his illness for many years. And when he died, I remember thinking, I don't want this to become my life now as a crusade. So I feel like there's a good balance between speaking up and addressing the issues, but not letting it be the only thing I do.
As a mother of so many children, how did you manage to write, find a publisher, and care for them in the beginning?
Well, in the beginning, I only had one child, so it was more manageable. I found an agent, which was as hard as finding a publisher, and I wrote my first book when I was 19. And then I kept on having children and writing books, but once I had kids, I wrote at night when they were asleep, or in the day when they were in school, or both. Usually when they were in school and then at night when they were in bed. I didn't sleep a whole lot.
Do you have a massive sleep deficit that you like to catch up on?
It catches up with me occasionally. I don't need a lot of sleep, which is a great blessing in my life. So I usually sleep 5 is a generous night, 4 is about what I sleep.
We have another question, this one from Kampala in Uganda. This man wants to know what your response is to the opinion that novels like yours are mercenary, lack deep ideas, and can't long survive.
I think he hasn't read my books. 590 million readers, and they say something different. And I think popular literature does survive. Charles Dickens is a wonderful example of that. A long time ago, people accused him of being superficial and mercenary. And it's what people want to read, and it's about what happens to people in real lives.
As you might imagine, the audience for romance novels have changed over the last 20 to 30 years. In a generation where reality TV and online connections reign supreme, how do you keep your book ideas fresh for new readers as well as for your loyal audience?
One thing, I try and address young people's issues. I mean, I've put a lot of young characters in the current books and the things that people are dealing with today. And I try and keep the books very current and hope that the old readers will be loyal and new ones will be intrigued by what I'm writing about.
Do you feel comfortable about writing about technology and the way that people connect online?
Sometimes when I don't feel comfortable about something, I research it. And I think the issue of technology is very interesting with how people communicate today. And I think there's a lot of human contact lost in texting and emailing and all sorts of, well, it's not direct.
Do you feel like would that be something you put in one of your books, like the sort of way that we...
I did. It'll be out in the spring.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll look forward to that.
Thank you.
On that note, thank you very much, Danielle Steel.
Thank you so much, Belinda. This has been fun.
Fun.
Thank you.